The Federal Roads Maintenance Agency (Ferma) has over the years remained the federal government's boldest step in ensuring that all federal roads in the country are good, safe, motorable and friendly all year round. Coming after a long period of neglect of the Trunk A roads, which heightened during the military era, the advent of the agency, which was more of interventionist, has remained one of the greatest legacies of the civilian rule in Nigeria. In the year 2022, the Federal Road Maintenance Agency marked a 20th year anniversary, and the agency indeed had reason to celebrate while taking stock of what the journey have been like. The one-week-long event took place at the Nigerian Air Force Conference Center in the nation's capital, Abuja.
Until I came into government in 2000.
The Minister for Works, Babatunde Raji Fashola, who represented President Muhammadu Buhari, urged Nigerians to stop abusing the highways as a code for appropriate maintenance culture in the country. According to him, roads are depreciating assets, hence the need to preserve and put them to proper use. There was a panel of discussion, of which also led to a question and answer session where the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Ferma, Engineer Nuruddin Rafindadi FNSC OFR, was able to give clarity to some issues around the activities of the agency and subject of the maintenance of federal roads across the country.
The Minister of Finance will appoint the chairman, and then the members will not necessarily be all engineers, but their duty is to apportion that fund to FEMA and also to the state road agencies. And also the road fund is basically supposed to take care of maintenance, not even building new roads, just operation and maintenance. And if that is done, then you will free the actual roads agency, the Federal Roads Authority, you free their own effort into looking for investments and raising funding for the construction and rehabilitation.
So our engineers have a lot of work to do, teaching people how roads are built and what roads need to be looked after and what roads do not like in order to live long. And it must not be done in all this technical language. You must go to the street level to begin to educate people. And there are engineers in almost every community in Nigeria. It's when people understand the do's and don'ts of roads that perhaps the biggest step in maintenance really has started. So roads are depreciating assets. So from the day when you start to drive on them, the life and asset value of that road begins to go down. And therefore, you are already generating a maintenance need. And that is perhaps the way it should be.
This is the book.
The event also featured the unveiling of a special anniversary edition of Ferma Digest, a magazine that chronicles the activities of the agency to mark the agency's 20th anniversary, as well as the unveiling of the toll-free short code 7727 is to enable Nigerians to call and lodge complaints on the state of roads around them.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner in this category is Engineer Chukwuemeka.
Meanwhile, the event also saw the recognition, yet again, of efforts of Imo State Office at sustaining the agency's ideals in her little way. While the state made it into the top 3 in the most productive state category for the second time running, the Federal Roads Maintenance Engineer in Imo State, Engineer Chukwuemeka Maduagu FNSC, won the award of the best FRME of the agency. This is in recognition of his service, excellence and dedication in his discharge of duties, supported by his resilience team in Imo State. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of FEMA, Engineer Nuruddin Rafindadi FNSC OFR, speaks on 20 years of the existence of FEMA, the journey so far, challenges and way forward.
We celebrated 20 years of Ferma creation because on the 30th of November was exactly 20 years since the first Ferma Act of 2002 was passed. Precisely on that date. Most of us have not been here for all of the 20 years, but we felt it was a good thing to take a pause, look back at the 20 years and celebrate the founding fathers and those who have made their significant impacts, no matter how modest, in Ferma. Mention them, appreciate them, recognize them, and also those other agencies and organizations and stakeholders that have helped in the executing the mandate of Ferma, and also mention them and appreciate them in a forum that is broadcasted internationally. We felt it was a good time to appreciate our past chairmen, our past board members, our past managing directors, and then all the staff of Ferma from the beginning to the end. And if you look at the entire event of celebration of 20 years, you find that we recognize all the former chairmen, including the one that died, including the one that is really old and could not attend himself but sent his wife. We recognized many staff that had served for a long time in Ferma. We actually gave them awards, and we recognized organizations starting from our parent ministry, Ministry of Works, and all other organizations that were important stakeholders. Stakeholders like Federal Road Safety, like the police, like the armed forces, like NCC, they're the one that was given a short code, and people like NATO, National Road Transport Owners, and other ministries, and so on. And it was a way to let people know that Ferma is fully cognizant with the contribution of other members to our successes, and to really appreciate them, because we will keep going back to them. So if you don't keep saying thank you to people that you've been working with and helping you, you are not giving the right encouragement. For me, that was the biggest objective of celebrating 20 years. Of course, we took time to mention scope, how well we think we have done, what are our challenges, what are our accomplishments, particularly in the last 4 years. But it had a good effect, because people really appreciated that. And the little we said about what we were able to do, people were able to grasp it. And the feedback we have is that people were wowed. I cannot pinpoint exactly what is the best achievements in Ferma in the last 4 years, even though I'm the one. So I like to think like it's like you have 3, 4, 5 children and you're asked to say which one is the best. Mm-hmm. I think we have performed very well in one, getting improved funding for Ferma, that is finances. I think we have performed well in improving relations with our stakeholders, particularly the Ministry of Works and other arms of the government. I think we have improved significantly in our communication with the public and dissemination of the information of our status of affairs. I think that is very significant.
In Imo State, southeast Nigeria, it was another eventful year. Even in the face of the daunting challenges such as funding, the agency continues to record modest achievements, striving to continuously show presence and ensuring that the greatest asset of the nation, which carries the bulk of the economy, doesn't buckle to a complete halt. Implementation of the 2022 Appropriation Act as passed by the National Assembly and assented to by Mr. President as it concerns Imo State has been sturdily and conscientiously being implemented through contract and direct labor works, which include maintenance of Owerri-Aba Road between km 18 plus 300 to km 30 plus 700 in Imo State, reinstatement of critical failed sections along Owerri-Port Harcourt dual carriageway in Imo State between km 22 plus 850 to km 33 plus 10 Owerri bound, special maintenance repairs of road and reinstatement of developing washout between kilometer 43 plus 500 to kilometer 46 plus 700 along Ihiala Oru Umuduru Road in Imo State. Maintenance repairs of Umukwe, Umuri and Umuozu Road between kilometer 0 plus 000 to kilometer 0 plus 1 in Ikeduru local government area, Imo State. Special maintenance repairs of road along Umuoju Road, Road in Imo State. Repairs of failed sections and potholes patching between kilometer 7 plus 543 to kilometer 19 plus 600 along Ihiala Olu Umuduru Road in Imo State. Maintenance of Owerri Onitsha Road between kilometer 0 plus 000 to kilometer 10 plus 200, both bounds in Imo State.
We've been able to achieve this basically due to our sheer determination and the drive to see us succeed, to see us put something on the ground, to see us impact life positively, to see us contribute to our quota to enhance economic activity in the state, because we know that the roads remains pivotal to economic activities of any area. We cannot talk about driving force, especially the staff and all the federal road maintenance engineers of Ferma, without taking our focus back to the management. The management led by Nuruddin Abdurrahman Rafendali. They remain the driving force, the number one driving force to every foot soldier in the agency. Because in the face of our biggest problem, unavailability of funds, inadequate funds, to do what we want to do, what we know we can do. In the face of inadequacy of those funds, it tries to push us, to inspire us, to as much as we can, with the little we have, get value for money on the roads, so that people and Nigerians can see.
Some of these road rehabilitation and maintenance, as always, have received commendations from the general public and road users.
Ferma is trying. Do the work normal. It's all accidents happen here every time. But Ferma come here now. Everyone is very, very nice now. We are very, very happy to see Ferma Company Association. We are very happy.
The state of this road was horrible. If as I'm walking out now, I'm going to call mechanic that is coming to fix my car. The cars entered water here 2 years ago. 60% of people who were living here almost packed out because of the bad road. But today, they are happy that they are living in an environment like this.
Before, the road was too bad. But thank God now the road is now very smooth. And now it's far more better than before. When we go to the markets, if you're in the relief, if you want to come back, if you want to charter keke to come back, they would say no, they are not going to issue, so the road is too bad. But now, then the price was too much. They will charge you 1,000 plus. But now with 700 naira, they will bring us back here because the road now is now smooth.
Honestly speaking, I'm very, very much happy for seeing this happen, because almost every year 2 or 3 people died in this particular place. But thank God the intervention of Ferma through federal government, you understand. So we really appreciate what is happening here. So Ferma, they are trying, but we pray that they should extend more hands.
Formerly the road is too bad for motorable, but since the Ferma started maintenance on it, I feel when they finish the job, the go slow will be lesser.
and people will be moving freely on it. The Lord will reward them to save lives and property of this area and save accidents. Because when the road is bad, there is a lot of accidents. But when the road is free, the motor will move free. The pass-by people will move free. But when the road is bad, it causes a lot of accidents.
God that started working our road. Thank God for everything. Yeah. When this road was bad, my market, if I can't come, I can't market and go home. No customer will come to my shop. All the vehicles will turn back. They are playing one way. But I thank God they have started working our road. Now, Ferma have started working our road. Now I'll be sending my goods and market. Thanks to Ferma.
There is a lot of fraud. If you don't fall now, the fraud will come out inside here, disturbing the neighborhood. Ferma is they're working well. The road is good. As they are doing it, since they started this last 2 weeks, the thing is good.
This road now, our heart be like say, it's better now than the former time because the river, the water is just the flow for the tire the road. But now, they don't have space where they get allowance now. So our mind is happy, say that they go to pass.
You know, when I was a young boy, if you tell me today that the community will have this road, I will not believe it. And if you have seen this road the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to assess. But we thank Ferma for the opportunity they gave us. We are grateful.
Nuruddin Rafindadi-led Ferma supported the agency in the state in refurbishing and upgrading the old office environment, which was hitherto in a bad state and susceptible to flooding. Within few months of intense work, the old building gave way for a brand new reconstructed building having modern day office appearance.
I can't help but mention and acknowledge the role of the team, the staff under me. They've been wonderful, they've been excellent. They have moved with me, understood the direction, our vision, and we must at every time ensure that value for money is gotten on our projects. Kudos also to the management led by Nuruddin Rafindadi, OFR. He came on board and brought a new spirit, a spirit that allowed people like us, the younger ones, explore ourselves, express ourselves in line with his thoughts and ideologies for the agency. We keyed in and he allowed us to express ourselves, and the result is what we have seen.
And appreciating the efforts of our management, headed by the agency.
The new office structure was commissioned by the Managing Director CEO, Engineer Nuruddin Rafindadi FNSC, ably represented by the Zonal Coordinator, SE1, Engineer B.O. Aina. Further, the agency in the state in its characteristic way organized her end-of-the-year activities, a program where it does a retrospective stock-taking of our activities within the year, identifying areas for improvement, and outstanding member of staff are recognized and rewarded during the event. In the year 2022, a deviation from the usual norm was seen as the field office embarked on a technical visit to the second Niger Bridge legacy project of the Muhammadu Buhari administration. The technical visit, which took place on November 24, 2022, had the Ferma team led by Engineer Babatunde Olasoji Aino, Director, Zonal Coordinator Southeast, and Engineer Martin Oluwaseyi, the engineer representative ER on the project, led the Federal Ministry of Works team.
Fellow engineers, you're welcome to the second Niger Bridge
project site. Where we are now is the toll plaza area. This project was conceived in such a way that the part of the Sovereign Wealth Fund of Nigeria was used to construct this project, and these funds will be recovered through these toll plaza facilities. The project itself is in 3 sections. These 3 sections are 47 kilometers in length, and the concept is such that government has decided to construct the mid-section first as the first phase. This mid-section is 11.9 kilometers in length. Of this 11.9 kilometer length, the main bridge crossing across River Niger is 1.6 kilometer in length. That means the Second Niger Bridge itself is 1.6 kilometer in length. Then the approach road on the Delta State side, where we are, is 3.3 kilometers in length. The Anambra State side is 7 kilometers in length. Those are the approach roads. The carriageway is 30 meters in width, so that it's a three lane divided dual carriageway.
While coming, I noticed openings being done, more like manholes.
Okay, we call them gullyfords. They are to drain surface water from the bridge. The reason why the openings are still there is because that section where you pass, we've not made wearing course. On the bridge, when we are going down, the main bridge itself, we've made wearing course. You will see that those gullypots, the covering are already in place, and it's been done in such a way that the wearing holds it in place, such that it becomes a permanent thing.
The exercise was richly educative and expository, as the Federal Ministry of Works team took time to take the Ferma team through the conceptualization of the project and all through the different stages of the project, explaining the construction methods deployed, as if to prepare in the agency ahead of time for the task of maintaining important national assets. The technical visit was followed by the annual dinner, where events aimed at capacity building of staff and their health care were dealt upon. Sir Engineer Emmanuel Uwayau, a one-time board chairman of Ferma who was present at the event, commended the Imo State Field Office for sustaining the event. Chief Uwayau, an elder statesman, was full of commendations for the engineer Nuruddin Rafindadi-led management, acknowledging that against all odds, the Rafindadi-led ESCO had done excellently well. According to a popular saying that leadership is never an avenue to be self-serving, but a platform to remember great service to people and humanity. Little wonder why this saying is evident in the leadership style of Engineer Nuruddin Rafindadi FNSC OFR, and just as the Nuruddin Rafindadi-led management of Ferma will forever leave an indelible footprint in the annals of Ferma history, and indeed road maintenance management and administration, same the Ferma team in Imo State under engineer Emeka Madwagu strives to achieve.